Hi, I'm Marty from the Films of Eyes. I haven't done a video review since Dead Sea Aquarium, which was a Halloween screensaver with a bunch of ghost fish, swimming around. And at the time I thought, it's not going to get any better than this. And Cruel Jaws came along and I was like, the fire lifted inside me again. And I was like, ooh, I gotta review this movie. And with a title like that, Cruel Jaws. Because, everyone knows Jaws is already pretty much a hard ass. He ate a kid in the first movie. It's like, it seems redundant to call him Cruel Jaws. But I thought, okay, maybe this Jaws is unusually cruel. Like he calls up my wife and pretending to be my mistress. And I almost get a divorce because I gotta convince her, I'm not fucking this shark. And she's like, I don't trust you. And I'm like, oh, why'd you have to be so cruel, Jaws? All right, so what's this stupid movie about? So it's about a killer tiger shark that runs amok in this small town, starts killing people. We got the nerdy scientist Billy who's trying to convince the mayor to shut down the beaches, but the mayor doesn't want to do that because it's a tourist attraction. How do we know for sure it was a shark, Billy? That kind of thing. And everyone wants to see the regatta, which is this whole, sailboat competition in the third act. And then there's this evil land developer guy that wants to shut down this aquarium and replace it with a bunch of his hotels. The Lewis hotels. Really swanky if you want to go on a honeymoon. Let's go to the Lewis, honey. And then there's the aquarium. There's like a SeaWorld type aquarium ran by this guy named Dag, who just happens to look exactly like Hulk Hogan. So I'm already on board with this movie, with the Hulk Hogan guy, because this guy really, really looks like Hulk Hogan. If any of this sounds familiar, it's because the plot was lifted from the first 3 Jaws movies. And not only was the plot lifted, there are shots lifted. I'm not talking about the cinematographer imitating shots. They actually took shots from Jaws 1, 2, and 3 and just bloop. So every once in a while the footage doesn't match. You're like, wait, why this is not cutting together? What's going on? It's because it's from a different movie. Every once in a while we go to stock footage and we go 2 decades earlier. You can tell it's like some nature documentary and it becomes really grainy. So the film was directed by a man named Bruno Mattei. He's an Italian filmmaker. And he's sort of known as the Italian Ed Wood, bit of a schlockmeister, just notorious for stealing shots and using stock footage as much as he can. I mean, this movie probably sets a world record for how much stock footage is used. Sometimes they put their extras in the same bathing suits, hoping that it'll match with the stock footage, and then it doesn't. Not only does he steal shots, he uses the music from Jaws at one point, and then he uses the theme from Star Wars. The fanfare theme for 5 or 6 seconds, and then it quickly turns into a different song. But, does John Williams know about this movie? He's gonna be fucking pissed. I have a feeling Bruno Mattei must have some real mob ties. Because how else would he get away with this shit? He has to be mobbed up, right? Some of my favorite parts is at one point they're trying to hunt down the shark, and at one point this woman is pouring gasoline onto the shark. And without spoiling it, I just want to say it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in cinema history, with maybe the exception of the chicken sandwich scene in 5 Easy Pieces. That's pretty good. One of the notable quotes from this movie, Ronnie's friend who stops the girls at the beach, he's like, "Hold it, pussy inspector. I gotta see your credentials." Fucking man. I don't know if it was just lost in translation from the Italian script, but I'm sure it wasn't that great of a line to begin with.
Once and for all, Billy, it is the fish or me. What do I have to do to get you to pay attention to me, grow gills?
And you really have to look fast to see the shots they stole from Jaws, because they only last just a second. But you're like, oh, that they stole that from Jaws. Holy shit, I can't believe it. It's so crazy that he thought he could get away with this. And then to top it off, I guess in some markets he advertised the movie as Jaws 5. And I just feel like Bruno was just thumbing his nose at everybody like, you'll see what I get away with. Jaws 5, the nerve of this guy. Blu-ray is fantastic. Among some of the extra features is an interview with film professor Rebecca McKendry, who goes over the whole sharksploitation movement that followed Jaws, and she talks about some of her favorite shark movies. It's really good. It's like a 20-minute interview. And then there's an interview with one of the actors. It kind of gives us insight onto the set and just how it was like the greatest time of his life. And, you know, there was never a shark on set. This is one of my first forays into the sharksploitation genre. I think it's going to be really hard to top this one because this one's just so outrageous and thrown together. I really had a fun time with this one. I think it's a great blind buy if you're into shitty cinema that's unintentionally hilarious. There's a lot of funny 90s things going on with the hairstyles, the music. The music is ridiculous. I mean, the music that's used in this movie is also like a work of art. Because there's so many music cues that just cut off abruptly. Like, it's just, the editing of the music is just as rough as like the stock footage editing. It's like horrible. The Billy Scientist guy, he like just unnecessarily drops F-bombs, and it's hilarious how much he does it in this movie. I think at one point he calls the mayor a fat fuck.
Without what? Without what, you fat fuck?
Check it out if you just want to see a movie that's not even really a movie. It's like an experiment. It's like, how many movies can we put inside this movie? And there's probably more of the stock footage movie than the actual movie. I don't. It'd be interesting to see how much running time there is from the actual movie. Crazy. Anyway, Bruno Mattei, my hat's off to you for being a straight up thief. I'm glad you got away with making this movie. You know, I hope those lawsuits were worth it, but I want to thank you for making Cruel Jaws.